Today's Sedra is the Sedra of Matan Torah, the moment of revelation at Har Sinai when Hashem appeared and gave the Torah to Klal Yisrael. Here shines the greatest miracle of Yetzias Mitzrayim, a people enslaved, tormented, demeaned, and sunken, immersed in the moral swamp of Egyptian idolatry, emerges from Egypt and, within only 7 weeks, rises to stand before Hashem himself. From degradation to Gilui Shechina, they are made ready to receive a Torah of Taryag Mitzvos. This fulfills the sign promised to Moshe at the Sneh, and this shall be the sign for you that I have sent you. When you take the people out of Egypt, you will serve Hashem on this mountain. Liberation from Egypt was never the end, it was the preparation. Rav Tzadok HaKohen of Lublin, may his merit protect us, teaches in a Sefer Pri Tzadik that the opening word of the Sedra, Vayishma, and he listened, is the key to transformation. Matan Torah begins not with thunder and fire, but with listening. A willingness to listen to Torah, Yiddishkeit, and the call of coming closer to Hashem. Earlier, however, the Torah describes the opposite state in Egypt. V'lo shamu al Moshe. The Jews did not listen to Moshe. Rav Tzadok explains that this is the very definition of slavery. A slave cannot and does not want to truly hear. That is why we daven every day. Avinu av harachaman, rachem aleinu, v'sein b'libeinu lahavinu laskil l'shmoa lilmod lamed. The Mefarshim famously ask, why does the tefillah place lahavinu lahaskil, understanding, before lishmoa, listening? How can there be understanding before hearing? The answer is that we ask the Eibishter for the seichel, the inner readiness to want to listen. Without that readiness, even the greatest words pass unheard. As the Navi Yeshayahu says, Shimu uschayeh nafshechem, listen and your souls will live. This leads to a powerful question. The Torah introduces the story of Matan Torah not with Klal Yisro listening, but with Vayishma Yisro. Yisro listened. What does Yisro's hearing have to do with Kabbalas HaTorah? And why is such an important Pasha named after him? Would it not have been more fitting to begin with Bachodesh Hashlishi, with the direct account of Har Sinai? Rav Tzadok HaKohen answers with a fundamental principle. Kabbalas HaTorah does not remain contained. When Klal Yisrael truly listens, when Torah is genuinely received, it overflows. It radiates outward. The inner listening of the Jewish people creates a resonance that is heard far and beyond. Yisro is not the paradigm, he is the proof. Vayishma Yisro, Yisro heard because Klal Yisro was listening properly. Their Torah, their inner openness to hear, spilled over until even a Midianite priest could no longer remain distant. This explains why the Torah interrupts the narrative of Sinai with Yisro's story, and why it's not relegated to the end of Parshas Beshalach, where the events that Yisro had heard about, the miracles of Yetzias Mitzrayim, Kriyas Yamsuf, and the war with Amalek are recorded. The Torah teaches that the validation of Kabbalas HaTorah is not only what happens at the mountain, but what happens beyond it. From here flows the obligation that Rav Tzadok emphasizes. Every Jew who truly receives the Torah inevitably becomes a source of influence. V'atem tiyu li mamleches kohanim v'goy kadosh, and you shall be for me a kingdom of kohanim and a holy nation. This was said to everyone. As the Vayidaber Moshe stresses that v'atem was addressed not only to Moshe and Aaron, but to the entire nation. The Navi Hosea echoes this idea. V'haya ha'am kakohen. Every Jew is called upon to act like a kohen, to carry the Torah outward to others, to the world. And often, it is not the Rabbanim or formal leaders who are most effective. At times, it is the Balabayas, the neighbor, the ordinary Jew, speaking simply, sincerely, without prepared speeches, and without tolerance for empty excuses. As the Pasuk says, Az didbaru yirei Hashem ish el re'ehu. Then those who feared Hashem spoke one to another. Rav Mechel Zlotchever, Zecher Tzadik Levracha, explains the saying, Dvarim hayotzim min halev nichnasim el halev. Words that come from the heart enter the heart. When a Jew is so filled with Avas Torah and Avas Yisrael that it overflows, that overflow itself is the proof of authenticity. The sign that the heart is truly full of Hashem's words is that they are nichnasim el halev. They penetrate another's heart. Torah lived this way creates an unquenchable thirst. One wants more and more. This returns us to Yisro. He had already heard reports of the miracles, and yet he undertook a long and difficult journey to come to Moshe and hear everything again. And when Moshe told him all that had occurred, Yisro did not say, I already know. He listened again and again, seeking depth, nuance, and a chiddush. Afilu kulanu chachamim, kulanu nevonim. Even if we are all wise and understanding, we must still listen. Torah that is alive is always heard anew. There's always a chiddush. The Torah promises, V'yata shamoa tishma'u b'koli v'yisim li skula mikol ha'amim. And if you will listen and listen again to my voice, you will be my chosen ones from among the nations. Rashi explains that although in general kol haschalos kashos, all beginnings are difficult, Hashem assures them that once Klal Yisrael truly obligates itself to accept the Torah, Hashem will make even the beginning pleasant. For the Jewish people, the very act of Kabbalah, acceptance, commitment, draws divine assistance that transforms what is normally difficult into something sweet and sustaining. This raises a classical question. If beginnings are difficult because of inertia, laziness, and the intervention of the Yetzer Hara, then the very act of Kabbalah, obligating oneself, should also be difficult. How does one ever begin? A popular answer is that the Yetzer Hara allows a person to commit, to promise. It's only words. He trusts human weakness, that declarations will remain words, never fully realized. Therefore, verbal commitments come easily. Rav Aaron, the Belzer Rav Zecher Tzadik Levracha, offers a deeper understanding. Precisely because the Yetzer Hara permits commitment through speech and thought, one should seize that opening. When a Jew resolves in his mind to listen and to act, that resolution itself already matters. Machshava tova HaKadosh Baruch Hu mitzarfa l'masa. Hashem considers a sincere good intention a part of the deed itself. The commitment is not empty. It creates spiritual movement and draws divine assistance. One who truly resolves in thought has already begun the mitzvah, and the action that follows is no longer a difficult beginning, but a continuation. And this is the message of Parshas Yisro. Spiritual elevation begins with listening. When Jews truly listen to Torah, to the quiet call of Hashem within, their hearts are lifted, their commitment deepens, and the Torah becomes alive within them. That inner Kabbalah does not remain private. It overflows. It radiates outward in words spoken sincerely, in lives lived faithfully, in quiet acts of devotion. Others hear it. Others feel it. Others are drawn closer. When Klal Yisrael listens and commits, Hashem lifts them higher, and through them, the world itself is elevated. That is how Matan Torah is renewed, strengthened, and carried forward every day. Shabbat Shalom.